Finna beat you, bro. Go. Oh. What you get for trying to block my shot? You all right? Thank you, bro.
Hey, we gotta take him to the ER.
We're gonna have to go to the ER. Let's go. Dang. All right, get us all the way to the door. All the way to the door. Let me cut us off. Went faster. Went faster.
I was trying to go kind of cheap.
Okay, good.
Action.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Kobe.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Bree. It's nice to meet you. What brings you in here today? I see you got on the boot.
Oh yeah, I was playing basketball with my friend. One of the block shot came down.
Oh, I know that sucks really bad. How long ago did this happen?
Early on in the week.
Okay. You getting that down? Well, can you do me a favor? Can you take off the boot for me and try to take a couple steps? Oh, okay. You don't, it's okay. If you can't do it, you can just sit back down. All right. So when you took those steps, what was your pain on a scale from 1 to 10?
It was a 10.
10? All right. 10. Got it? All right. What have you done so far to the pain? I see you got a little swelling going on and some discoloration.
Been icing it, keeping it elevated.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Have you taken any meds for it?
No, just on ibuprofen.
Okay, just some ibuprofen. Make sure you get that down.
Ibuprofen?
Yes. Okay. And last thing, do you have any medical allergies, allergic to anything?
No, man.
No meds. All right. He's not allergic to anything. Make sure you get that down.
So,
All right.
so we're gonna put him on compression and ice, or
Yes, we
Okay.
are. We are. We're gonna try to prescribe him something for his pain as well.
Gotcha.
All right. We're gonna talk about this and we're gonna come back and see you.
Action.
Hey, one last question. When you were doing your layup, did you hear any type of sound, like popping, cracking, anything?
I think I heard like a little pop when I came down.
A pop, okay. He did hear a pop when he came down.
Gotcha.
All right. That's our last question. We'll come back and see you in about 5 minutes.
Okay, and our last test that we're going to perform is an anterior drawer test. And for this, I elevated his knee so that we could get his ankle in a more lax position. I'm going to put my hand on his heel with his foot rested naturally on my arm. And I'm going to put my other hand on the base of his tibia for structure. And we're going to move the back of his ankle so that his ankle is moving in an anterior motion. And we're just checking for stability or unstableness, mobilization, to see if he has any stability in this area. And that's our last test. All right, we got our patient right here. This is his injured ankle. This is his uninjured ankle. So we're gonna start our test to evaluate his grade 3 ankle sprain. All right, first we're gonna start with our palpation. And this is her ankle, by the way. We're gonna palpate the navicular, which is right under the posterior talofib ligament. We're gonna do the base of the fifth metatarsal, the distal end of the tibia and fibula, in addition to the medial and lateral malleoli. So I palpated all of that. Everything feels pretty secure. Next, we're gonna measure his edema, which is his swelling in his ankle. In order to do that, we're gonna get the tape measure, and we're gonna test his unaffected ankle first, just to get a reference of whether or not there is swelling or not in his injured ankle. So we're gonna start in the mortise. We're gonna go medially, laterally. We're gonna go around his ankle, and then we're gonna get a reference. So his unaffected ankle is about 53. Now we're gonna use that centimeters, and we're gonna reference that on his injured ankle. We're gonna start in the mortise again, go medially, laterally around the ankle, and wow, that is really big. That's really big. This one is 63 centimeters. So we can tell that he has a lot of swelling in this injured ankle. But moving on, we're gonna move into the next test. We're gonna go into our 3 special tests, and these special tests include the Taylor tip test, the squeeze test, and the Thompson test. For our Taylor tip test, we're gonna grab his ankle. I'm gonna have my hand on his calcaneus, and I'm gonna put his ankle into the inversion type of motion to see if he has any range of motion, which we're going to test a little bit later on. But this is the Taylor tip test. For the squeeze test, I'm going to put my hand on the calcaneus, on the posterior talofib ligament, and my other hand on the front part of his foot. We're going to squeeze it, testing for stability or whether or not it's there. For the Thompson test, we're going to have the patient roll on his back. I'm actually going to, I know you're hurt. Yeah, actually, you can stay right here. Yep, stay right here. We're going to roll him on his back, and we're going to squeeze his calf muscle to see if there's any connection between his, well, basically, we're testing to see if there's a rupture in his Achilles tendon, whether or not. So I'm moving it. If you get closer, you can see that the Achilles tendon is being triggered. Okay, like I was saying, we were doing the Thompson test, which tests for rupture in the Achilles tendon, and you can see that there is the connection between the joints still, so there was no rupture. And we also had the clue that there was no rupture, or there was a less likely chance that there was rupture in his tendon because he was able to take more than 3 to 4 steps. All right, moving on. We're gonna do our, we're gonna do the range of motion. For range of motion, for our normal values in this course is 20 centimeters for dorsiflexion. For plantar flexion is 50 centimeters, and inversion is 35 centimeters, and for eversion is 15 centimeters. So first, we're gonna test with my goniometer. We're gonna test for dorsiflexion. We're gonna put the fulcrum on the mortise and the immovable arm. We're gonna line up with his fibula, head of the fib, and his movable arm with his the rest of his foot. So we're gonna measure his dorsiflexion. So go ahead. And this is in centimeters. Okay, so his dorsiflexion, we have it at about 14 centimeters compared to the normal, which is 20. So his range of motion is a lot less than the normal. So we can tell that this probably is injured. Next, we're gonna measure plantar flexion. We're gonna have the same movable arm and immovable arm in the same areas, and we're gonna have them go into plantar flexion motion. Okay, and for that one, we have range of motion at 30 centimeters, and the normal is 50 centimeters. For inversion, we're gonna line the fulcrum up with the mortise, like we did with the edema test, and we're gonna line this up. And then I'm gonna have him do an eversion. Okay, going out. And the normal for eversion is 15 centimeters, but his is showing out to be about 10 centimeters. And for inversion, we have him at 25 centimeters, which is not the normal, it being around 35. So his range of motion is lacking. So we can clearly see that he has an injury, probably grade 3 ankle sprain.